everyone, and welcome back to another Watson Brothers Team Stats video. We're here to cover the stats for March of 2024. Ian?
As always, I get to go first because as I feel the stats are the most important, but I digress. We're starting to see a bit of a pattern as we head through and have completed the first quarter of the 2024 selling season. We're starting to see inventory rise and rise considerably. For example, single-family homes are up 40%. Townhomes are up 38% and apartments up 37% versus a year ago. Now, remember, I cautioned that last year was a little bit of an off year. So although we're way up, it's not probably as substantial as it looks on paper, but it's still considerable and it's starting to set a trend. When you combine the increased inventory with the sales, which I'll talk about here in a second, housing, single family, was down 18%. Apartments down 19%. So you have inventory rising, sales dropping. Two things can happen. Either prices drop or sales stop. And we're starting to see a combination of the two because sales are slower in terms of the absolute number versus a year ago. And we're starting to see price drops and right across the board. And the way that is reflected is in our average sale prices. And we can see that the average sale price again, right across the board, is about 4%. When you break it down to smaller categories, the best one performing so far seems to be the apartment category, and the townhouses are actually doing better than single family as well. And that purely is an affordability factor. People cannot afford the average sale price of just over $1 million for a single family home. So they go, we need a place to live. What's the next best thing? It's a townhouse. And if they can't afford a townhouse, they go to an apartment. So we're starting to see a little bit of that trickle down, and it's moving down.
Absolutely. To sort of touch on the stats, there's been some major nervousness in the market lately, especially with the bunch of holds that the Bank of Canada has had on the interest rates. We're due for another announcement next week, so we'll see what happens. We don't have a crystal ball, but I wish we knew. And with that nervousness from buyers, consumers, it's sort of now trickled down to builders, developers in a lot of their projects. So you'll see sort of across town, there has been some pauses and some stops in some of the projects because the pre-sales just aren't there. There's not enough being sold in order to keep construction going. So a lot of those projects have either stopped or just gone on pause for a little bit here. So in a nervous sort of market, we're always looking for opportunities for our clients. And with the influx of the condos and apartments that you mentioned that are on the market, that inventory in that segment has increased quite substantially. There is an opportunity for people, whether they be end users, investors, first-time home buyers, even in the apartment and condo segment to sort of get in there. Sellers are starting to have to make negotiations work if they are wanting to sell and if they're needing to sell. So there's definite opportunities still in the market for buyers.
And touching onto that, Avery, with the apartments being on the market because of the sweeping changes that the British Columbia government has made toward short-term rentals, we've just recently, on top of also for the Watson Brothers team, watching sales in recent listings as well in market. We also watched the City of Kelowna website on building permits as well as zoning changes that come across. And the most recent building permit that has also piqued our interest was one that was provided by the Ramada Inn on the Enterprise. And they are applying for a building permit to create a short-term rental micro-suite hotel, which is very interesting from a bigger kind of not a public sector. They are seeing that now because the public sector has been stopped from the short-term rental, that they see that there is a need to build because we don't have enough hotels for people to stay in. So it will be very interesting to see how the government's going to manage this one.
Absolutely.
We're starting to see a little bit of change and dichotomy in the marketplace, and we will keep an eye on all these things, from stats to what the city is doing and what government's doing, and we'll report in any time that we can.
And give us a call.
At any time.
Anytime.
250
712
2222.